So, thank you, Sky, especially Dr. Gulamajan, for giving me the opportunity to talk here about this gathering. So, respected teachers, chairpersons, moderator, and my fellow colleagues. My topic is coronary trash. This topic, I don't know why Ashok has chosen the talk, because after such beautiful talk, I have asked to remove the garbage. Trash is garbage, that is any device or gear. When it is under your control, that is a very weapon for you. You can do many things, you can do a lot of things inside the coronary, but whenever you lose it, whatever the device it is a trash for you. So that device may be lost, it may be stained either, that may be the balloon or even the guide catheter, part of the guide catheter, especially tip of the guide catheter. So stent loss incidence is very low, especially in nowadays, but before when there was in initial days of stenting, the rate of stent loss was very high. The incidence varies between the different institute and person to person, and in different studies it shows that 0.3 to 8% stent loss related to multiple factors in most circumstances, not only the patient factor like the lesion characteristic, but also the operator's factors related to manipulation, excess manipulation, including the push, pull, or rotation, maybe the procedure-related factor, especially in complex angioplasty. So stent loss can be prevented and should be predicted in certain circumstances, especially when there is coronary tortuosity, angulation, calcification, and setiolation. At the same time, forceful manipulation should be avoided. Other thing that is important is malalignment of the guide catheter when the stent is removed from the coronary, or when the stent is delivered from the catheter to the coronary. That is an important issue that may deform the stent and subsequently that may be lost from its balloon. So there are 5 scenarios that happens during stent loss. That may be the partial loss when the balloon is due to pushing force, it goes beyond the stent and that goes more distally. In that circumstances, small inflation of the balloon, and then we can pull it back out of the coronary artery. In other circumstances, sometimes we try to retrieve or remove the stent when it does not difficult to deliver in the perfect position because of poor bed preparation. In that circumstances, when we pull that stent, the balloon may be lost from the stent and proximally this balloon may come. In these circumstances, it is better to remove that balloon and take a smaller balloon to remove the stent. I will discuss it later. So scenario 3 may be all the balloon is lost, but still the oil is inside the stent. In that circumstances, it can be retrieved by a relatively small, like 1.5 or 2 millimeter into 8 millimeter balloon, or it can be repositioned by similar small size balloon. So scenario 4 may be stent inside the coronary artery, but there is no balloon, there is no wire inside. In that circumstances, it is better to crush the stent first with a balloon, then put a stent over it. First crush it with the balloon, then put the stent over it. So it is better to do, and especially if the patient is not hemodynamically stable. And scenario 4, sometimes stent may be lost inside the aorta, either hanging from the ostium of the right coronary or from the left side. In that case, smearing is the best way to remove it. So smear can be done by amplasms or any smear, but anyhow, in our experience, the smear that we made at the in our cath lab is the homemade smear. That is a very useful tool, and in some studies shows us this homemade smear has got the highest success rate, because on advantage of this smear is it is easily available. We can change the loop from 2 millimeter up to 20, 30 millimeter loop, we can make it by this homemade snare. And everybody should be known about how to make the snare. So where the snare should be caught, stain should be caught during snare. It is better to caught at the end, but for any hard object, it is very much important to snare the things at the end, especially when the catheter is dislodged. But for stain or in any other wire, anywhere we can cut it and we can remove it. So these are the 3 small videos that shows how to remove. First one is the balloon technique, second one is the snaring, third one is the wire twisting method. So this balloon technique is quite helpful, but snaring should not be better to avoid, especially if it is in the deep in the LED or LCS, but in the left brain that can be tried. So my first case is 70 years old male, LCS or CTO calcified. It was opened up, there is a long dissection, that was a calcified lesion, that was a transradial root, moreover, that was long back, about 7 years back. 6 French catheter, long stent. Initially I failed to deliver the stent up to the lesion, so I pulled it back, and during pulling the catheter was not aligned, so it was deformed, the stent was deformed. And the balloon was lost from the stent partially. So this is partial loss with balloon till inside. We inflate the balloon, then pull it back. Moreover, there was a lot of tortuosity in the subclavian system and calcification as well. But anyhow, it was pulled down up to the radial artery. So this is a safe zone in the radial artery because that patient has got a good ulnar artery and interosseous circulation. So even we lose it in the radial artery, it will not do any harm. Anyhow, after pull back up to the radial artery, it was removed by wire twisting technique. It is removed by the wire twisting technique. My second case that is done by one of my colleagues, Dr. Diman Bonik, few months back, and that I am definitely thankful for him for giving me the opportunity to show it. That was the anomalous RCA. When a long stent was taken, everything was lost. Catheter was disengaged, wire is lost, balloon is lost, and stent is hanging from the ostium of the RCA. So the only way that can be removed is the snare, nothing else. The same way it was removed by the snare. So my third case, this is the case of CTO that stent was lost when I tried to pull it back. Balloon is out of the stent, only the stent is there. I take a second wire outside the stent, firmly push direct the lesion, then take another balloon through the first wire, push the stent up to the lesion, and at the same time I pull back the balloon that was used for dilatation. So reposition perfectly, then after sequential post dilatation, finally the result was good. So balloon fracture, this is infrequent things that might happen, especially when you use the old balloon, calcified lesion and scintillation. So this is a case of decalation done few years back. There was ice in the LCH. So during balloon dilatation, it was stuck inside the LCH stent. When it pulled back, segment distal to the wire, it was broken. So one thing that is very important here, 24 centimeter of the balloon is distal to this exit port of the wires. So usually the site of fracture is here. So, in most circumstances, the fractured balloon, part of the fractured balloon remain within the catheter. So, that can be easily removed by this balloon trapping, by taking a 2 or 2.5 millimeter balloon and trapping the fragmented part of the balloon and pull everything back. So my take-home message, the coronary trash is infrequent but might be catastrophic. Adequate anticoagulation and close hemodynamic monitoring is very important, and always we should judge the risk of retrieval with the effect if we keep it alone. Homemade snare is very much effective, and sometimes it is more effective than the ambulance snare, and multi-wire crossing technique is low success rate. Identification of the lost stent, especially when it is in the aorta, should be done because embolization in the carotid or vertebral system is very much dangerous. So, finally, I like to thank my cath team.
Thank you, Dr. Ashok Dutta, for your brilliant presentation on coronary trash loss stents balloon. Fortunately, due to improved design nowadays, improved delivery system, stent loss probably a few, but it's a graded complication and should be managed as a bailout strategy. Thank you for your brilliant insight. Anyone likes to add anything, any tips or tricks? Anyone from the audience likes any tips or tricks?
Thank you for a brilliant presentation and very information you give to the audience. What is the inflation pressure when you push or pull the during retrievation of the materials? What is the inflation pressure you keep it?
Yes, that is very important. If you see my last case, so if the stent balloon is inside and it is lost distally or proximally, you just inflate at 0, 1 or 2 ATM, even that if it is 3 millimeter stent, balloon will inflate up to 3 millimeter. So, stent is almost inflated. So, it is difficult to retrieve, difficult to push it inside also. So, better to take 1.5 or 2 millimeter balloon, as I did here. This is proximally 2 millimeter, 2 into 8 millimeter balloon that was inflated at on ATM. Even at 0 ATM, balloon will be inflated a lot. It is not negative. Then I push it just proximal to the stent here. I push the proximal balloon here. At the same time, the distal balloon that I used for post dilation, I pull it back so that it controlled way it can be moved up to the lesion, not distal to it. So inflation pressure should be on to 2 millimeters, just inflation. Because further inflation that may deform the stent, that may open up the stent. But if you try to retrieve it and push the balloon distal to the stent, you should inflate it 4 or 6 millimeters.